Hey yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, going to be talking about our quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. If he's not our quarterback, then I don't know who it is. This guy, he did help us lead to the Super Bowl land last year, Super Bowl 54. Unfortunately, we fell a little bit short. I know, we blew a 10-point lead. A lot of people like to say that, but hey, I don't care. We made it to the Super Bowl considering the fact that for the past couple years, we were like 5-11, 4-12, 2-14, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we just haven't had great years before 2019. Hopefully 2020 is a great year. A lot of expectations for this team this year. We'll see what that leads us to. Hope you guys are having a great Saturday. I personally am. Nothing too crazy here. It is good to be a weekend here, I guess you want to call it. Let's just get into it. But before I do, as always, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share this channel, share this content with fellow Niner faithfuls. That does help me out a lot if you guys share as much as you can. Also, for the month of August, I'm going to be doing my Children's Miracle Network. They're going to be doing it in September. This time around, not in May, because there was the pandemic going on, so they didn't really feel like doing it then. It's going to be doing it right here, right now. Have a link for you guys in the description below when I have a chance. Also, we'll be doing a community post and promoting it every single video for the month of August. The goal for the whole thing is going to be about $250 from you guys. I think that's pretty reasonable, and I'll be donating $500 of myself so we can get that nice fat balloon. And actually, I'm going to try to keep it this year to hang on the wall, hopefully for the month of October when I do get it. So, yep, there you have it right there. Hope you guys do donate as much as you can. That'll be much appreciative. And let's get this started. Jimmy G predictions for 2020 season: touchdown, interception. If you look at Jimmy G stats from last year, not too bad of a year for him considering the fact that he was coming off an ACL surgery. I'm going to be reading the statistics with you right now. I have it on my screen. For his 2019 campaign regular season, he had a 69.1 completion percentage, which is pretty amazing, I would say. That's almost Drew Brees-like completion percentage. But in today's NFL, it's pretty easy to get a high completion rate because of all the rules. They made it easier for the quarterbacks and receivers to cooperate more. I mean, back in the day, it was really hard because the defensive players could actually take your head off. But now in today's NFL, you can get a lot of flags if you're a defensive player. But 69.1 in and of itself is still amazing. I'd say in today's NFL, you have to have at least a 65% completion in order to be a quote-unquote accurate quarterback, in my opinion. So he definitely meets that standards right there. Also, his yards for the whole season, 3,978 in particular, almost 4,000 yards. I think I said in my last year's video about 4,200 yards. That would have been accurate, but since the running game was so awesome, he didn't really have to throw too much. Although near the end of the season, he did have to throw quite a bit because he had to go to shootouts with Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff. He's had a lot of those kinds of games. He did really well. He probably would have had more yards had he had been playing more earlier in the 2019 campaign, but since the running game was so dominant, you didn't have to worry at all. Also, his yards per attempt, 8.4, really good right there, making more plays. I mean, that yards the day of CJ Beathard, Brian Hoyer, where it was only like 6-7 yards per attempt, so that's really amazing right there. He does need to work on his long-term game, long throwing game, but other than that, I think he'll be fine there. Touchdown to interception, the more interesting part, 27-13, a little bit disappointing, I would say, but at the same time, as you all know, the running game, you didn't really have to do too much earlier in the season, so he probably would have had more touchdowns, and even then, he was like almost top 5 in terms of all touchdowns in the NFL for all quarterbacks. He had 13 interceptions, which is a little bit alarming, which is not good at all because turnovers do lose you games. But there is a weird statistic for you, which I would read for you guys from a 49er website. I'll have a link in the description below, but also having your screen right here. Going to be reading word for word for you guys. Jimmy Garoppolo on 10 drives for the 49ers following his interceptions this season, which is 10 interceptions. This is from the 2019 campaign. Couple of weeks into the season, he is 32 for 35 for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 120 passer rating. So what that means is every time he throws an interception, the next drive, he just has an amazing drive. He gets his flow going. That's what I've seen from him all year long in 2019. It's like he throws an interception just for fun earlier in the game, in the first quarter, and then he just has an amazing game after that. I don't know if that's just a Jimmy G thing or he just throwing an interception just to, get the turnover out of the way. I don't know. When he throws an interception, am I worried? Not too worried unless it's near the end of the game, but for the most part, his interceptions have been happening very early on in the game, which is a little bit concerning, but not concerning at the same time because of the statistics right here. If he's throwing interceptions, if it's earlier in the game, then I wouldn't be too worried too much. But yeah, I wish he would turn down the interceptions, the turnovers a little bit, but at the same time, with Jimmy G, he's kind of like a Brett Favre quarterback. He'll just throw interceptions. You just have to expect it for the most part, and that's what we're going to have to live with as long as he's the 49ers quarterback for the long-term futures. I'm going to just leave it right there, give you guys a warning. If during the 2020 campaign, he will throw some interceptions. If he can have drives like these where it's just amazing. After that, then I'm not worried at all. But at least he's not throwing any late quarter interceptions. He hasn't been doing that all year long for the 49ers in 2019, so I'm not super concerned, but it does suck to see the turnovers being in the double digits, but it is what it is. Looking at his statistics, not too bad of a year for his first full season as a 49ers starting quarterback. Also, he was coming off an ACL surgery, so, he was trying to get his groove going. He did have to play with his receivers because he didn't really have anybody, minus George Kittle, and then Deebo Samuel came along really well near the end of the season. Emmanuel Sanders came along as well. I mean, the first couple of weeks before Sanders arrived, man, this team was really struggling in the passing yards department, but when he came through, he really helped everybody out, from Kendrick Bourne to even George Kittle, also to Deebo Samuel. They all did really well, and you got to give Sanders a lot of credit. I wish he was still with us in San Francisco, but hey, he's not with us. He's with New Orleans. Gosh, Emmanuel, I hate you. I'm just kidding. But anyways, let's do the nitty-gritty right here. Let's get to the predictions. Where do I believe he's going to be standing at this year? You have to take into account the running game. It's really awesome, so I'm going to be assuming that they're going to do a great job for us in San Francisco for the whole 2020 campaign. That's a really good one. Touchdown to interceptions. Well, I'm going to get the interceptions out of the way. I think he throws about 15 interceptions, to be honest with you. I wish it was lower. I wish it was like 10 or something like that. But, with Jimmy G as your quarterback, with him making plays, with him taking risks, he's bound to throw an interception some way, shape, or form, even dumb ones. But I'm going to be assuming he's going to throw 15 interceptions for this upcoming 2020 campaign. Hopefully it's lower, but, the way he plays, I think that's a pretty reasonable number. His touchdowns, I would say about 32, I think that's a reasonable number. I think he's going to have to win in some games. I know defensively they're dominant. I know the running game is dominant as well, but he will have games like last year near the end of the season where he's going to have to clutch it for you guys, where he's going to have to really take the driver's seat and win the game for you, and I think he's going to have to throw some touchdowns definitely in 2019. So I say 32-15. I think that's a legit number, considering that, he's a very talented quarterback. He can make touchdowns, he can make plays, but he does have interceptions. Passing yards, I'd say the same thing, about 4,200 yards, maybe 4,000 yards, just because he doesn't really need to do too much, assuming that everything around him is doing really well. I think that's a pretty similar number, a little bit better, a little bit more of improvement than 2019. As I said, with his team really, really good, he doesn't really have to do too much. I mean, you saw in the playoffs, he only passed the ball 15 times before the Super Bowl, and he only passed into Packers 7 or 8 times. So when you have a dominant team like that, you really don't have to do too much. That's what I'm banking on for this upcoming 2019-2020 campaign, or I should say 2020 campaign. And if there's a full season, I think that's going to be his statistics coming in to the 2020 campaign, ending the regular season. That's pretty much it, you guys. Please let me know what you guys think about Jimmy G and his statistics. I like what you guys say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help you out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up maybe tomorrow on a Sunday, if not a Monday. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your Saturday night. Go Niners all day.